Herzlich willkommen zum zweiten Video hier auf diesem Kanal. Das erste Video ist jetzt bestimmt schon 4 Monate her oder so. Ich habe ja schon bereits angesprochen, dass es auf diesem Kanal hier keine regelmäßigen Upload-Zeiten geben wird. Einfach, weil das zeitlich momentan für mich nicht hinhaut. Ich bin momentan in der Ausbildung und tue mich schwer, so irgendwie flexibel einfach so ein Video zu machen. Nur momentan habe ich Zeit, deswegen habe ich gedacht, jetzt die Tage probiere ich mal wieder so ein bisschen Inhalt auf den Kanal zu feuern. Wer sonst noch was irgendwie von mir sehen möchte, kann gerne auf ClearTech vorbeischauen. Das ist mein Tech-Kanal, Technik-Kanal. Da bringe ich halt so Technik-Videos und Informationsvideos zu allen möglichen Sachen. Von daher, wenn euch das interessiert, könnt ihr da gerne vorbeischauen. Ist in der Videobeschreibung verlinkt. Genug von der Werbung. Jetzt würde ich sagen, fangen wir erstmal mit dem zweiten Game hier auf dem Kanal an. Und zwar Stanley's Parable oder The Stanley Parable. Ganz kurz zum eigentlichen Spiel. Das ist im Grunde ein Spiel, man spielt halt einen Charakter und wird von einem Kommentator durch das Spiel gelotst. Das Ganze ist auf Englisch, das heißt, für das Spiel sollte man zumindest so ein bisschen Englisch können. Ich werde das Ganze nicht übersetzen hier in dem Spiel. Dann müsst ihr zur Not einfach nochmal eben zurückspulen, wenn ihr was nicht verstanden habt. Ist ja auch völlig okay. Also es ist jetzt kein herkömmliches, normales Spiel. So, der Sinn des Spiels ist ziemlich schwer zu begreifen. Ja, ich sag einfach erstmal nicht viel mehr. Ich gehe einfach mal rein und ihr guckt euch das so mal mit an. Ich habe schon davon gehört, deswegen bin ich auch sehr gespannt. Es gab davon eine Demo-Version auf Steam, die aber nicht wirklich aussagekräftig war. Also man konnte der Demo gefühlt nichts entnehmen, worum es in dem Spiel eigentlich geht. Deswegen bin ich jetzt umso gespannter.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Okay, jetzt sind wir schon mittendrin hier. Alles klar. Habt ihr, glaube ich, mitgelesen, worum es hier geht? Wir gehen raus.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Die ganzen Türen können wir nicht durch. Ist auch eine geile Aussicht, muss man sagen. Finde ich schon mal top.
Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
Genau, jetzt fängt das nämlich schon an. Man kann, das Spiel hat ziemlich viele Variablen. Also man kann sehr viel machen und es führt zu etwas. Ne? Einfach gesagt. Schon witzig. Es hat auch unterschiedliche Endings, ne? So viel.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Wir machen erstmal das, was er uns sagt. Können nirgendwo rein.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Einfach eine richtig dumme Präsentation. Oh, hier können wir rein. Broom Closet, Besenkammer.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
Was ist, wenn ich jetzt nicht rausgehen würde? Kann ich wieder zumachen? Ja.
There was nothing here. No choice to make, no path to follow. Just an empty broom closet. no reason to still be here.
Bleib mal kurz drin, mal gucken, was passiert. Ich habe das Gefühl, hier kommt irgendwas gleich.
It was baffling that Stanley was still just sitting in the broom closet. He wasn't even doing anything. At least if there was something to interact with, he'd be justified in some way. As it is, he's literally just standing there doing sweet FA.
Ja, interessanter Raum. Gaffer-Tape, immer gut.
Are you really still in the broom closet? Standing around doing nothing? Why? Please offer me some explanation here. I'm genuinely confused. You do realize there's no choice or anything in here, right? If I'd said Stanley walked past the broom closet, at least you would have had a reason for exploring it to find out. But it didn't even occur to me because literally this closet is of absolutely no significance to the story whatsoever. I never would have thought to mention it. Maybe to you this is somehow its own
Redet
branch
weiter
of
und
truth.
weiter.
Maybe when you go talk about this with your friends, you'll say, "Oh, did you get the broom closet ending? The broom closet ending was my favorite." I hope your friends find this concerning.
Ach, das ist ein richtiges Ende, ey. Geil.
Stanley was fat and ugly and really, really stupid. He probably only got the job because of a family connection. That's how stupid he is. That or with drug money. Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
Oh, dieses Game, ey.
Well, I've come to a very definite conclusion about what's going on right now. You're dead. You got to this broom closet, explored it a bit, and were just about to leave because there's nothing here, when a physical malady of some sort shut down your central nervous system and you collapsed on the keyboard. Well, in a situation like this, the responsible thing is to alert someone nearby so as to ensure that your body is taken care of before it begins to decompose. Hello? Anyone who happens to be nearby? The person at this computer is dead. He or she has fallen prey to any number of your countless human physiological vulnerabilities. It's indicative of the long-term sustainability of your species. Please remove their corpse from the area and instruct another human to take their place at the computer, making sure they understand basic first-person video game mechanics and filling them in on the history of narrative tropes in video gaming, so that the irony and insightful commentary of this game is not lost on them. All right, when you've done that, just step out into the hallway.
Nee, kommt wohl nichts mehr. Geh mal raus.
Ah, second player. It's good to have you on board. I guarantee you can't do any worse than the person who came before you.
Was ist, wenn ich...
You too?
Geil.
I'm at the mercy of an entire species of invalids. Perhaps there's a monkey nearby you can hand the controls to. A fish? Fungus? Look, you can hammer out the details. I'm not particularly picky. I'll just be waiting for when you're ready to pick up the story again.
Oh Mann, ist das genial. Ja, geil. Ein Ende haben wir dann schon entdeckt.
Coming to a
Sehr schön.
staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Upstairs machen wir. Zum Boss. Die Treppen rauf zum Boss. Ist hier? Können wir nicht rein. Ein Schreibtisch. Können wir hier was machen? Nö. Dann gehen wir rein.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, what dark secret was being held from him. What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by
ich glaube, ich
sheer
habe
luck.
ihm...
Amazing. He
Ich glaube,
stepped
der wollte
into
noch was
the
sagen.
new open
Ich habe ihn einfach
passageway.
angegeben. Sehr schön. Aber den Aufzug. Sympathische Gegend schon mal. Diese Ladebars, Loading-Bars, die erinnern mich so ein bisschen an Supernatural, Quatsch. Superliminal, meine ich.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Also wie gesagt, wir machen jetzt in diesem Video erstmal das Ende oder das Ending, das Ende, in dem wir genau das machen, was er sagt.
Mind Control Facility.
Das ist jetzt nämlich so ein Ding, ne? Wir könnten da reingehen oder wir könnten den Weg rausgehen, wo Escape dran steht. Machen wir nächstes Mal. Jetzt erstmal wirklich komplett nach dem Buch.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out? Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed.
Feuer.
Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe.
Wir
It
sind
couldn't be
4
true.
to 7, ne?
Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this
4 to
time?
7, da.
Was this the only reason he was happy
Das ist
with
unser
his
Büro
boring
dahin.
job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Ja, aus würde ich sagen, ne? Nu? Alles aus.
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
ja, das war dann das Hauptende, würde ich sagen. Jetzt haben wir in diesem Video genau das gemacht, was er uns gesagt hat. Und im nächsten Video werden wir dann genau das Gegenteil tun. Aber an dieser Stelle würde ich sagen, Leute, vielen Dank fürs Zuschauen. Wenn es euch gefallen hat, gerne einen Daumen nach oben drücken, gerne auch einen Kommentar schreiben, abonnieren. Und dann sehen wir uns im nächsten Video wieder. Bis dahin, macht's gut. Ciao.